Mr. Mike Doyle.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for having me here. I just want to say a quick congratulations for your first year as a Toastmaster Club. You guys have incredibly knocked it out of the park. Without a doubt, you guys have really done well. And that is setting you guys up for an even more challenging next year. You guys really have a lot of stuff that you guys have accomplished so much. I mean, looking at it, you guys had you guys had 8 different level 1 awards, 2 different level 2, well, 5 total of 5 level 2s and 1 level 3. So you guys really, you got up and going. You guys started hitting your educational awards right away. And also you adapted to this environment. You guys all went from meeting in person to shifting with COVID and adjusting to the virtual environment, and you guys did that wonderfully. So my hat's off to you. What I'll offer next is that, hey, we're going into a new year. Let's keep it going. It's you guys have maintained a nice membership base. You guys are growing. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Let's keep that up. It's going to get a little bit challenging now, but just keep the faith. You guys have it. You guys have done well. You have gelled tremendously as a group. So I just add, you guys let yourselves shine, and I'm sure that this next year will be even brighter for you guys. So congratulations on being President's Distinguished, and congratulations on being a new Toastmasters Club within District 86. So my applaud to you guys. So congrats. And back to you, Mr. Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle, for everything. Thank you, everyone, for letting me be your Sergeant at Arms. I've really appreciated to get this position. Being part of this group has made me learn a lot. I want to say that. And I want to say that I hope that we keep on growing as a group, and that if we need anything, we can call on each other, because that's what a group is, people who can call on each other. And this is what this group has done for me. So I want to pass this on to Mr. Robert Riggs with his 3 to 4 speech that he has for us.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. I'm actually going to pass it over to our current president, who's going to be doing his final intro for the year. Mr. JP, it won't be his final intro, but it will be his final intro for the year. So JP, if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to go ahead and find a way to unmute you, and then I can pass it right on over to you, sir.
Thanks again for the intro, Rob, as well as Josh. Again, just like Josh said, Mike Doyle, we appreciate the help that you've given the club as well, and the support that you, Dorothy, Nancy, Elizabeth, everybody else that helped mentor us and grow us to the club that we are to this day. So again, like, can we give like a small round of applause to these guys for like really stepping up, as well as Andrew, Rob, everybody else that like really helped us grow as a club, with the people that were mentoring us with their knowledge and allowing us to grow into the people that we are today. And as well, I do see a couple of new members or guests, right? So then, Rob, if you could I have you unmute a couple people that I see in the crowd right now? And the first person I see is Matt. Could you unmute Matt, please? Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Good. Hey, sorry, I just figured out a food. I guess I was a Toastmaster a few years ago, and when I was in college, and then when I graduated college, you know, I joined Toastmasters because I was very nervous about giving in-class presentations and interviews and any type of stuff like that. I guess typical public speaking stuff, you know, where you're kind of on the spotlight. And when I graduated college and moved away from the city, I didn't join another club. So I kind of feel like my skills have maybe came down some. I haven't got a lot of practice. and I know speaking something that you need to practice at, or you kind of fall off. So I'm trying to get back into the groove. So I found you guys online, on Google actually. So yeah, thank you.
No, thank you, and I hope you enjoy this meeting tonight. And Rob, can I have you unmute Miss T. Greer?
Okay, hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Did I say your name right?
Okay. Yeah, it's T. It's Tiana, but everyone calls me T.
Okay.
I have a few presentations and I have a few interviews that I have to do. And I felt like I really wanted to join Toastmasters. I had looked it up online and I kept saying I was going to try to join it. But then when I saw you guys and I saw the time and I saw that you did it online, it made it easier for me to take the leap. So I was just coming here to really to pretty much help my skills with the interviewing process, with some of the presentations and stuff that I will have to give. So I'm hoping that I can really learn a lot from you guys, and also over time I'll grow and I can give to your group also.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Hopefully, there's stuff that you can pick up from this club and from this meeting tonight. And again, as Rob said, this is going to be my last intro as president. It's very bittersweet, but I have full faith that like the next president will be, if not better, with his flow, or he'll be able to put his own spin on it that will actually push the club into a direction that we may need to actually go into. So also another thing before we actually roll into everything, we do have an officers meeting coming up on Friday and Saturday as well as Sunday. So then it's you're open to go if you feel like going to it, but then please reach out to one of the officers, or Rob or myself or Andrew, about like if you want to check it out yourself. And without further ado, I'd like to pass it off to Mr. Michael Doyle himself.
All right, everyone. One of the main things that we have to do tonight is the induction of the next year's or the next group of officers. So this is something that we do every year around this time. We promote change inside the organization. We want people to explore all these different roles. So if this is something new to you and you're a guest, welcome. This is something that we do, that we have roles inside the Toastmaster Club that act as leaders, and they help run the club for this fiscal year. And then the club elects new leaders, and tonight what we're going to do is we're going to install that new group of leaders into the club. So bear with me as I get my little form here ready. And if I could have all existing club officers, please, because we're in a virtual environment, please raise your hand. All right. All you officers, you are discharged from all further duties and responsibilities as officers of the New Beginnings Club. I am here to install the officers of the New Beginnings Club and to prepare them for the challenges that lie ahead. Their collective challenge is to make this club strong, dedicated to helping people of all walks of life to speak in an effective manner, listen with sensitivity, and to think creatively. I will ask each officer to hold a virtual gavel as a symbol of leadership as we briefly describe the challenges that he or she must meet and the responsibilities that he or she must fulfill. As Sergeant of Arms, the club Sergeant of Arms is responsible for club property management, meeting room preparation, and hospitality. The Sergeant at Arms chairs the Social and Reception Committee. Josh Puerto, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
For Treasurer, you are the club's accountant. You manage the club's bank account, writing checks as approved by the Executive Committee and depositing membership dues payments and other club revenues. You are also in charge of submitting membership due payments to the world headquarters, filing necessary tax documents, and keeping timely, accurate, and up-to-date financial records for the clubs. Georgie Bacala, or Mr. Robert Riggs, I think you're standing in as her. Will you perform these duties as the best of your ability?
She will.
Gotcha. All right. Club secretary. Club secretary, you maintain all club records, manage club files, handle club correspondence, and take the minutes of each club and executive committee meetings. You're also in charge of updating and distributing a roster of the current paid membership and keeping the club officer list current for Toastmasters International. Jennifer Newman, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thank you. Okay, the Vice President of Public Relations. You promote the club. You promote it to the local community and notify the media about the club's existence and the benefits that it provides. You promote the club, update web content, and safeguard the Toastmasters brand identity. It's your job to notify the media whenever your club does something newsworthy. Tammy, Attama, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. For the Vice President of Membership, you promote the club and manage the process of bringing in guests and transforming them into members. By initiating contact with guests and helping them feel welcome and providing them with the information that they need to join, you help maintain the constant influx of new people into your club. You also attentively monitor membership levels and strategize with the rest of the executive committee about how to overcome membership challenges when they occur. Jean-Paul, JP, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Vice President of Education. As Vice President of Education, you schedule member speeches, verify the completion of projects, and serve as a resource for questions about the educational program and speech contests and your club mentor program. You are an important source of Toastmasters knowledge, and it is your job to become familiar with all aspects of the Toastmasters education program. Mr. Andrew Bullock, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Okay. All right. So now the best for last. Toastmaster Robert Riggs, having been elected as the president of the New Beginnings Club, you are its chief executive officer and are expected to preside at all club meetings and at all regular and special meetings of your executive committee. It is your challenge to see that this club enables its members to achieve their educational goals. It is also your challenge to see that your club helps the area, division, district, and Toastmasters International to meet those goals. Please accept this virtual gavel as a symbol of your leadership and dedicated to office. The gavel is a symbol of the power and the authority given to you by the membership of this club. Use it wisely and with restraint. You are a member of your team as well as a leader. A team is more than a collective of people. It is an emotional force rooted in feelings, thoughts, and actions of all the members with the common goal of achievement, sharing, and mutual support. Work with your team members to create a healthy, dynamic club, a club of which everyone is proud. Will you, as president, accept this challenge and perform your duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to...
I apologize. You might have to unmute yourself. I apologize. Learning on the fly here.
Oh, darn. All right. Where was I at now? All right. So, all right. It is now my pleasure to declare these Toastmasters into the offices to which they have been elected. Everyone, the growth and development of the Toastmasters program in the New Beginnings Club depends largely upon the actions of this group. On your honor, as members of the Toastmasters, do you pledge to individually and collectively stand by this club, live with it, and to work with it throughout the coming year. You all say, I will.
I will.
We will.
Awesome.
We will.
Yes, we will.
I will.
All right. And I thank you all. And I now hand over the lectern to your new upcoming 2021 club president, Mr. Robert Riggs. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Now that I've finally found out how to mute everybody, I'll try to make this brief. You know, there's a new rule in our club, and that new rule is that if we go under time or overtime outside of the contest constraints, that we don't get speech credit. And the whole reason that rule exists is because of me. So this is a 3 to 4 minute speech. I'm going to do my best to keep it to a 3 to 4 minute speech, and I will call out all of you to do me a favor, just clap like crazy if I ever go past 4:30. I see Josh right there as timer tonight. Everybody just look at Josh. If he's showing up that red, just start clapping like crazy for me. I originally started this group with a few other people. It was Andrew, it was Elizabeth, it was Hans, it was Lee, and then it kind of grew slowly over time. And we did that because we wanted to make it a little organic. And you know, we eventually got JP and David in, and then everybody else started clicking along the way, and then Tammy showed up, and everybody else here has had a special part in making this club what it is today. And it really does feel like a second family to me. I mean, I started this club with the intention of having a Toastmasters group, but it was more than that. Because for me, I said, I don't just want a club where I can get public speaking and leadership. I actually want to have a group of friends where I can grow as an individual. You know, there's things that we talk about in our speeches, our lives. And these are the things that I wanted to hear from you and that I wanted to share my life with you. The purpose of Toastmasters is a professional forum for public speaking and leadership, but we started New Beginnings with this idea that we can expand beyond that, that all of us can start our own new beginning in some way. And what I wanted to do flourished into this beautiful thing, and I wanted to continue that. And that's why I kind of stepped up and said, I can do the president thing, and not with the idea that I can hold the gavel with the iron fist and tell everybody what to do, though I do love to micromanage, and I'm going to do my best to not do that next year. Instead, I'm going to do my best to encourage all of you to become the best you can be. There's 2 specific ways that our club is looking to do that next year. And I do appreciate you giving me the honor to guide everyone. The first one is, it's simple. How do we become better Toastmasters? How do we become better speakers? How do we become better people? By getting up and getting out there and doing the things that make us uncomfortable. Giving speeches, taking on leadership roles. That's why when I decided to be president and Andrew decided to be VPE, we did it with this mindset that we're not going to be the traditional president or VPE. We're going to be in the role, and we're going to encourage others to constantly help us with our role throughout the year, just like we're going to be constantly encouraging you and helping you, either as officers or just regular members in any way. So if, in terms of actually giving speeches, I've already tasked my officers with getting a triple crown. Every single officer, we have about 11 this year. We have 7 official and about 4 unofficial. Every officer is tasked with getting a triple crown. And JP, thank you very much, sir, for working through that experience, for helping us work through that experience of saying, how the heck am I going to get this triple crown? He's reached out to every officer, I believe. Is that correct? Or at least if not close. He's getting there. And in addition, every officer has been assigned an accountability buddy, somebody to keep them accountability-able. What does that mean? We've got 11 officers. We have 11 non-officers. So that means 11 people. Each one of us is going to reach out to one other member who's a non-officer and talk to them about something different than Toastmasters. Toastmasters will be a part of it. But there's a second part, and that's your growth as a person. We want to see 3 goals. 3 goals in your life that you can accomplish next year. That can be as big as you want or as small as you want, but we encourage you to think big. As officers, we're going to set the example. We're going to do that by giving speeches, getting our triple crowns, and then encouraging you to speak as much as you can. As people, we're going to share our goals and our lives with you as friends, and we hope that you will do the same with us. So the idea here is that I appreciate very much that you've allowed me to serve as your president, and I will do my utmost to encourage you and help you. This gavel is a symbol of not power, but friendship and love and appreciation and growth. I hope that all of us can grow as individuals together. And my hope is that one day we will all stand up a year from now, welcoming the new set of officers, and that they will have an even better vision and a better way to help us. And with that being said, I would like to pass it over to our Toastmaster of the evening, Mr. Andrew Bullock.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Summertime. It's fun time, summertime. That is the theme of our meeting. We just started our summer, and let me tell you, it's going to be a hot one. As I'm sure you've all noticed, I'm on the move. I am actually moving away from Virginia. And we'll see. And I'm just going to make the most of it as I can. Anyway, we have a full meeting. We have 3 prepared speeches. Then we'll have some impromptu table topics. And then we'll have our evaluations of our speakers and our table topics master at the end of the meeting. And just to make sure things run smoothly, I have some helper roles that will help keep this meeting organized and evaluate the meeting from beginning to end. But to introduce those roles, I will introduce our general evaluator, Ms. Jennifer Newman.
Sorry, I was unmuting myself there, wasn't working. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. As General Evaluator, the purpose of my role is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting. During the meeting, I will take notes on everything that happens and doesn't happen. I will evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for good examples of preparation, organization, delivery, enthusiasm, observation, and performance of duties. At the end of the meeting, I will give my report. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Now, there are some helper roles. I believe it's my part to introduce those.
That's correct.
Okay, so for Listen Up, Lee, could you please introduce yourself and tell us what you'll be doing?
Okay. Listen up. In Toastmasters, most of our roles are speaking, but we also want to become good listeners. So for the Listen Up role, I'll be listening to tonight's speakers for some key details, some interesting information, and come up with some questions at near the end of our meeting. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Lee, Mr. Listen Up for tonight. Our next role will be counter. And tonight, sharing that role, she'll also be doing Grammarian. Miss Asha Zarr, could you please tell us more about your role?
Yes, hello. So first for Grammarian, I will be listening carefully to everyone speaking throughout the evening, and I will be paying particular attention to good and bad grammar, interesting or effective, use of words and phrases, as well as too much use of slang, cliches, jargon, and I'll add here colloquialisms. I will present my final report during the evaluation process, or portion rather, of today's meeting. And as the counter, I will listen very carefully for the use of vocal pauses and crutch words, such as you know, and repetitive words or phrases. I will keep track of everyone and give my report to the general evaluator at the end of the meeting. Thank you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. Our next role is timer. Tonight that role will be done by Josh Puerto. Josh, could you please tell us more about your role? Oh, Josh, you're on mute. Just unmute yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to New Beginnings. I'm your timer tonight. I'm Josh Puerto. So tonight I will be making sure that everybody who speaks or does table topics gets the time that they need to qualify. I will tell y'all how the time works, and then I will show y'all what the color of the card is. So tonight with speeches, I have 5 to 7 minute speeches. I have Miss Cleo, Miss Josue, Mr. Josue, and Miss Donna. At 5 minutes, I will show you all a green card. It'll be right there. At 6 minutes, I will have a yellow card. And then at 7 minutes, I will close it up with the red, and that will be where y'all have to start finishing off, because if not, you will not qualify. Then I have my table topics. Each table topic is 1 to 2 minutes. Questions that the table topic master is bringing for y'all tonight. Hopefully there's some good questions. They will go from 1 minute. At 1 minute, you will see a green card. At 1.5 minutes, you will see the yellow. And then at the 2 minutes, the red. If you go past 2 minutes, you do not qualify to be best table topics. And that is my role for tonight, guys. Enjoy the meeting.
Thank you, Josh. Our next role is wordmaster. Miss Elizabeth Clare, could you please tell us more about what that entails? Oh, Elizabeth, you're on mute as well.
Used to be just click on the microphone. Well, as wordmaster, usually the word of the day is something that people kind of know, but they haven't been using effectively in their speeches. And someone presents the word and then counts how many times it's been used. In the past few meetings I've been to, very few people have used the word. So I have gone in the opposite direction. There's a word that I have not heard since the beginning of COVID-19, and I would like to hear it a lot tonight, in keeping with our theme of summer fun. I think you all know the meaning of this word. It's hooray! So spice up our meeting with a hooray whenever you think it's suitable. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. I love that. Actually, I should say hooray. So for our next role, we have a topic master. Tonight that role will be, who is filling topic master tonight? Is that you, Zach? Could you please tell us more about what you'll be doing as topic master?
Hooray! My name is Zach Phillips. I'm your topics master for this evening. It's sort of like a fun and light portion after all the speeches have been done, where I'll ask some questions and I'll call on a few of you, and you'll give like a short 1 to 2 minute impromptu sort of speech. And keeping in with tonight's theme, I'm going to ask all of the questions or summer related questions. So yeah, have fun with it. And back to you, Madam Evaluator.
Thank you, Zach. Looking forward to that. Our next role is Toastmaster. Tonight's Toastmaster of the evening is Andrew. Andrew, could you tell us more about your role?
The job of the Toastmaster evening, to transition the meeting and introduce all of our roles, starting with the speech portion of the meeting. I will be your host throughout the rest of the. This time, I will take control of the meeting Thank you, Madam Joint Evaluator.
Thank you, Andrew, and especially, oh, excuse me.
What?
Oh, you were done. Okay, thank you for that. And we appreciate you tuning in even though you're driving. Please be careful. Our next roles during Toastmasters, we have evaluators. And for our first evaluator, we have Jamard Bossicot. Did I say that right, Jamard? Please introduce yourself and tell us more about your role.
Okay. First of all, I want to say, hooray, you pronounce it right. As far as evaluations, what I'll be doing is listening to Cleo's speech, making sure that I'm looking for just clarity, engagement with the audience, interest. Her speech is supposed to be based off of something that she researched. But I'm also going to be looking to see if it was well researched and just more so giving her overall feedback for what she can do, let's say, in the future on her speeches and how well she did on this one. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Okay, do I need to, or Robert or Andrew jump in and let me know, or Tammy? Have I missed any roles for tonight? I think I got everyone. Thank you for bearing with me. Tonight is my first night as General Evaluator. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'll hand the meeting back over to you.
Right.
Thank you, Jennifer. We look forward to your report at the end of the meeting. All right. A little bit is in the event that you need to step away from your computer, please remember to turn off your camera so you don't disturb the other people around you. Our first speaker of the evening is Cleo Robertson. Cleo Robertson is, hold on one second. Cleo Robertson is working on her research and presenting for 7 minutes in the innovative planning pathway. She is completing her L1 this evening. To maintain an element of surprise, she decided not to add the speech topic in her introduction. Please kindly. Oh, okay. Sorry. So, her speech title is I Made a House in 2 Hours.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Indeed, I created a house in 2 hours in Minecraft. In this evening's speech, I'm going to share with you all a little bit about the history of Minecraft and its gameplay through the lens of creating this house. This house design comes from JUNSMAB Architecture Tutorials YouTube channel, which has over 1 million subscribers, so very popular. Now you may be wondering, what in the world is Minecraft if you haven't heard of it or maybe know a little bit about it? Minecraft is a sandbox game. And when you think of sandboxes, you may think of unlimited imagination. Minecraft is a place where you can go and create anything that your heart desires. It's also kind of like virtual Legos. This game was developed in 2009 by Marcus Notch Pachon and officially released in 2011 under Mojang Studios. And about 6 years ago, Xbox Game Studios acquired Mojang for $2.5 billion. and Xbox is owned by Microsoft. It is an incredibly popular game, even 11 years later, at 126 million players per month playing this game, according to The Verge. Most of the information in this presentation comes from Gamepedia's Minecraft Wiki, a great resource, especially for beginners like me and experienced players. Now, before I hit the play button to create my house, I wanted to change the skin that I'm in, at least in the game. In the lower right corner, you'll see Alex and Steve. Those are the default characters in the game, but I wanted to change the skin. So I found this wonderful tutorial on YouTube, and they told me about the Skin Decks, a place where a lot of users create and upload various skins, and I can even create my own. But I decided to go with Hoodie Girl as the skin that I would wear as I built my house. Now, there are various versions and platforms for this game. I'm playing the Java edition on PC. There are various versions, I won't list them all, such as Bedrock Edition, Minecraft Earth, Minecraft China for China, and other ones. And there are platforms. I already mentioned PC, but there are platforms for Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and more. There are 5 modes. I won't really get into them, but I'll go ahead and list them out right now. Survival, Adventure, Hardcore, Spectator, and Creative. The mode that I'm playing in is Creative. In Creative, I'm giving everything on a silver platter. I don't have to work for anything. I didn't have to mine for materials. Also, I don't have to die. I won't get attacked. I don't drown. I don't have to eat. I don't have to rest. I just have to create. And I can fly. Let's not forget, I can fly. And speaking of flying, in this video, I'm flying over what are called biomes. In the version of Minecraft that I have, there are 75 biomes. And biomes are regions of with various geographical features such as changes in elevation, humidity levels, flora, all kinds of things. For example, also when I was flying over, I saw what are called mobs or living game entities, such as cows, and I think I saw some pigs, but there are a lot of different types of mobs, especially hostile mobs at nighttime. Well, not in this mode, but I can fly right up to them. And in this video, there are skeletons and I think a zombie and big spiders, something weird under the water. I won't go into that, but I can go right up to them, stare them in the eyeballs in this mode, and they won't attack me. Thank goodness. I can just go ahead and create to my heart's content. Earlier, I mentioned that I'm given materials, unlimited blocks, all kinds of blocks. Normally in Minecraft, you have to mine for things. And in this very poor example of mining, here I am demonstrating how you can mine underground, and I encounter at least 2 different types of blocks. And normally in other modes, such as hardcore or survival, you gotta mine for stuff to make other things to survive. But as I said, I'm given everything on a silver platter, almost everything. And this is my inventory. I got all kinds of blocks, plants, everything is in there. And again, I didn't have to work for it. In this video, I'm building up in the rain for you all. Just so y'all can see this video for this speech, and I made this video over the weekend. I endured the rain. It was so arduous, me flying in the air, being rained on just to build this house for you. But in all seriousness, there is precipitation in various biomes. Not all biomes have that. You also may have noticed a day-light cycle and day-night cycles are about 20 minutes. And the time in the game is 72 times faster than normal. At the end of the day, I think I was pretty successful. I found the perfect place, the perfect biome for my home as I was flying over. It is a very modern design. It's got an open floor, 2 bedrooms, 2 large staircases on the either side. I'm ecstatic. I'm by the water. Hooray!
Aww.
Thank you so much for learning a little bit about Minecraft's history and gameplay. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Oh, so they're good.
Thank you, Cleo. So I give Cleo a standing ovation as she just now completed her level 1 at innovative planning. I would stand up myself, but I'm in a car. Oh, a moving truck. Correct. All right, Mr. Timer, can I have 1 minute on a timer for our feedback? For those of you who wish to give Cleo some feedback on her very excellent presentation, just click on the ellipsis above her video and select chat, and you can send her a private message. Move on to our second speech. Mr. Josue Jean-Paul is working on Connect Your Audience and the Dynamic Leadership Pathway, Level 3. This is his elective. Speech title, A Quarantine Buddy is a Happy Buddy. Since the outbreak of COVID, the world has tasked with a hard job. This was literally how he wrote it. Stay home. Many have found reasons to dread the idea. But JP is here to show the silver lining. Please welcome to the lecture, Josue Jean-Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening. So how many of us have been watching the news lately, the past 3 months? It hasn't been too delightful, has it? Stay in your house. Stay in your house. Don't go out. You'll get the corona. Everybody, it's like looking at zombies right now. Like no one wants to touch the next person or be 6 feet away. It's kind of great if you look at it, in my eyes. All right, fellow Toastmasters and guests, let me give you an idea about how we can actually see it for the better. For quarantine, for me personally, as an introvert, has been great. And I want to tell you why. And hopefully I get the chance to persuade you guys into seeing the better side of quarantine, my side. All right. So my first point is, since being home in quarantine, who has developed a little hobby, a new hobby? Whether it was designing their own house. For me, I put up new curtains. It looks a lot better. And I got pillow curtains too. I don't mean to brag, but HGTV has nothing on me. Am I right? So we've all been able to develop new hobbies, whether I've been seeing friends learn how to play guitars, keyboard, read books, go outside, work out. It's been more of a healthier mindset since you have nothing else to do. It's been very useful when it came to reaching your New Year's goal. A lot of people I've seen, like Charles Gate, go on Facebook Live and use that platform to start biking and work out in his own garage. A lot of us now are leaning more towards going on YouTube and turning your own living room into your own personal workout gym. Not a lot of people have been doing that before quarantine. Sounds pretty good to me. I don't know about you. Does that sound pretty good to you guys right now? Right? Just developing your own hobbies. Gotta get a hands up. Right? If we've been able to develop our own hobbies, right? Sounds good. My second point was, although I am not a parent that I know of, I've been able to talk to a lot of parents at my job, at my work, or like around town and all this other stuff, They've been able to spend a lot more time with their kids. Whether it was now that they're barely at work or they can work from home, now they're able to either teach their kids new stuff, be in their kids more in their lives than they were before quarantine. Yeah, actually, how many parents do I have in the audience by chance? Or how many people have raised someone like a uncle, a niece, a nephew, or babysit, and realize you get to spend more time with them and really learn about who lives in that house? And I'll tell you, they're monsters. I will never go over to my friend's house. They invited me over to a barbecue yesterday. I still wouldn't go because they're monsters. I got to spend time with them too. But again, it gives me the option. It gives every parent the option to spend time to learn their kids and to be with them. And that's been a great thing that we've been seeing with quarantine. The amount of time that parents and kids have been able to either develop a TikTok, social media, or they're able to actually watch what their kids are learning, to actually play with them. I've seen more kids whenever I go out to Mount Trashmore, running with their parents, exercising with their parents, playing sports with their parents. I haven't seen that since I watched Dennis the Menace, and that was, what, like back in the 90s or something like that? That's a long time ago, right? It's been very helpful to actually see that nowadays and understand that we are still able to connect with the people that we love the most. Whether for me, although I don't have kids, I still do have parents, and I still reach out to them, and I've been able to reach out to them more often than not since being under quarantine. Although I'll use that as an excuse. That's the only reason I've been able to reach out to them more, because I've always been busy. All right. Another reason, it was, although it's been shaded into the first two, is now we have a lot more time to actually do more stuff. And it's more along the lines of job-wise. How many of us been working long hours before quarantine, and now we work less hours after quarantine, right? So then one thing we noticed, it was one thing I've seen back even when I was at my job in December, and we'd go down half manning. We could still get the job done with less people. Or sometimes your job can be done at your house. So it's better for the business because now it's just less lights on, they're saving money, and it's better for the personnel because now they're in their own space, they're able to work, they don't have that neighbor just, nye, 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 nye. Let me tell you about my day, nye, 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 nye. Let me tell you about how my weekend was, which is, it was really bad, but I think you should hear it so you can hate it too. Not in my house. No, 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 no. I wouldn't enjoy that, and I know y'all wouldn't enjoy that. Having that personal space, having that free time, and having that little area where we can actually get our job done. And I've been seeing it work more efficiently than not in the past couple of months. So for me, again, like how many people been able to do stuff with your free time, like have a workout buddy? Does anybody want any workout buddies? Like, you know, like just like, I know Rob, you have Brenda, you were doing that before, you can do that afterwards. And even now, like my friend down in Mississippi, we track each other's running on this Nike app, where now it's just showing that although we are socially distanced, we could still like work out together and be closer than ever. Then now, like I still run with friends in Mississippi, California, and doing more stuff on my own now that I have the time and the energy for it. So then for me again, I hope you understand, or I brought you into my world to understand why I've been loving social distancing, especially like the less traffic, better food, even the cooking at home. I've been noticing that a lot more, and I hope y'all have been too. Mr. Toastmaster.
Imagination, we lose our timer.
For going forward, we will ask Lee to step up as timer. Is that okay, Lee? Might have to unmute.
Give us a thumbs up.
Lee, can you step up as timer?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right. So, first, let's give JP a standing level 3, dynamic leadership. Either my thing is frozen.
Standing ovation. Congratulations, JP. He also just got his triple crown, by the way.
All right, Mr. Timer, can I have 1 minute on the timer while people give JP feedback for his speech?
One minute.
All right, thank you, Lee. All right. Let's move on to our final speech of the evening. Miss Donna James. She's working on level 2 of the presentation mastery pathway, effective body language, also 5 to 7 minutes. Donna James is from Norfolk, Virginia. She's an informatics nurse and is building a business as a financial coach of World Financial Group, with a mission of helping families in areas of savings, retirement, protection, and living benefits. She often practiced sign language with hopes of obtaining a certification as an ASL interpreter. Please welcome to the lectern, Madam Donna James.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
In 2005, the National Science Foundation came to the conclusion that the average person's thoughts are at least 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. Of that range, 80% of those thoughts are, guess what? You got it, negative thoughts. And then 90% of those thoughts are just repeats from the day before. So it's like a broken record getting played over and over and over again. How much of your life is being directed and how much of your life is being controlled by your negative thoughts? It could be fear, it could be anxiety, it could be so many things that are negative in your life. I experienced that at one point in my life. Several years ago, I lived in Orlando, Florida. I had a condo, and I was at home working on a Friday, jumping on a conference call, and then all of a sudden, a loud kaboom occurred, and my front door flew open. The screws flew out and everything. I thought it was maybe a gas main explosion, and I rose up from my couch to walk to the door to find a man pop up in front of my front door with a black object in his hand. I couldn't see exactly what the object was, but I knew this didn't mean anything good. So I started to scream and he took off running. Luckily, a neighbor next door to me looked out of her window and saw that he jumped in a car with another individual and they sped off. My apartment or my condo community was gated in and gated out. Very lovely community, swimming pool and tennis court. But somehow they got in with the attempt to do a home invasion. Could you imagine the frantic feelings I had? Those thoughts gripped me for months and for years, to the point where any slight sound, it could be the slamming of a door to my neighbor when I moved out of Orlando, Florida, I would be startled. I was crippled. I was gripped by that fear for so many years. The negative thoughts flooded my mind 24/7. I couldn't even sleep comfortably at night because I was so consumed by the negative thoughts. How much of your life are you allowing to be consumed by the negative thoughts? How many times do you get up in the morning, stretch and yawn and think to yourself, man, I got to go to this job again. I know it's going to be a long day. Or how many of you say to yourself, and you think about that person that irritated you the night before, and then all of a sudden the rush of that person runs into your mind, and you can even feel the anger to the point where you just want to shake her. Every emotion that you have are tied to your thoughts. And not only that, the more your thoughts consume your mind, the more they start to show themselves in your action and how you approach people, how you handle experiences in your life. It's all about your thought pattern. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So what are you thinking about that you're becoming? I know we don't want to live a life that we're always seeing life with the glass half empty rather than half full. We want to be at a place where we feel good when we get up in the morning. You know, you want to get up in the morning and stretch and yawn and think to yourself, you know what, whatever comes my way, I'm going to accomplish it. I'm going to achieve my goals and my dreams, and nothing and no one is going to hold me back. I'm going to be successful in whatever I do. You want to get up thinking good and positive thoughts. So what do you do when your mind is riddled with fear and when your mind is riddled with negativity and your thoughts are consumed with all the bad things in life? You get up first and you take 5 minutes of silence. And in that silence, you picture green meadows. You picture soft raindrops and low-sounding thunderstorms to help relax you. You think of the sand on the beaches. You think of pleasant thoughts. You think of the things that you're going to accomplish for that day. You picture in your mind the goals that you want to achieve for your life. You keep your mind focused on what it is that's important to you. What do you do once you get up? Walk around your house and begin to speak loudly so that your voice can be heard, saying, this is going to be a wonderful day. This is going to be a fantastic day. All the dreams and goals that I have, I'm going to accomplish. I'm going to reach every mission that I have listed out. This is not going to be a bad day. This is not going to be a day that turns out wrong. This is going to be a day that's going to strengthen me, and I'm going to be able to conquer and accomplish. And then lastly, before you go to bed at night, say the same things over again. Have a complete catharsis of your mind where you can clear out everything and focus on the pleasant thoughts. So when you go to bed, you have pleasantries in your mind. It's all about what you do. It's all about what you want in your life. It's all about the things that you want to achieve. But most importantly, it's all about the positive mindset that you need in order to achieve it. So change your thoughts and watch your actions will change with it. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you, Miss Donna James. So give her a round of applause. All right. Mr. Timer, can we get 1 minute on the clock for feedback?
1 minute.
All right. Mr. Timer, can I get a timer support, please?
Cleo, 6 minutes, 16 seconds. JP, 6 minutes. And Donna, 6 minutes, 2 seconds. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Well, the plan was to have you send your votes to our Sergeant at Arms, but in his absence, we will send them to, just send them to me, Andrew Bullock. Let's hope that I don't get reset on my connection again. You want to vote for Cleo, JP, or Donna James for Best Speaker? While we're doing that, we'll go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and go into table topics. The beginners club, please come back to order. This time, we will now move into our table topics portion. There's a phone call I do not need to take right now. I will now turn the meeting over to our topics master, doing it for the first time under the theme Fun Time Summertime, Mr. Zach Phillips.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Andrew. Like you said, it's all going to be summer-themed questions. I'm going to ask random people who haven't spoke a whole lot so far in this meeting, and it's 1 to 2 minutes, and it's going to be off the cuff, and so just have fun with it. All right, first up, Robert Riggs.
Yes,
Robert,
sir.
all right. What song reminds you the most of summertime? And are there any memories attached to the song? Does it say something about you or inspire you in a positive way?
Thank you, Mr. Tabletopcsmaster, for that challenging question that I've drawn a blank on, but I'm going to do my best to answer your question. There's a song that came in the 60s. I can't remember who did it, but for whatever reason, it just sticks in my head because it has this dun, 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 dun.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't remember who does it, but I always remember that beat. And anytime that I have a memory of summer, I always hear dun, dun, sweet summer in the city, dun, 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 and gritty and gritty. I always get having fun, having a good time. I always feel the need to want to get up, and every time I think of summer, I think of that song. This song is from the 60s, okay? This is not my generation. My generation is like 80s, 90s, and today. But this song, every single time I think of summer, I always get that memory. And I think the reason I get that memory is because I remember driving to my grandparents' house in Virginia Beach from Northern Virginia every summer, and without a doubt, I'd always hear Oldies 103 and I'd hear that song. It was a beautiful song and it gives me this emotional rush. It always gives me positive memories. And I first remember that because I always had that when I was like 5 or 7 years old. And from that moment forward, I always tried to associate memories with music. So why does it make me positive? Why does it inspire me to be happy and all that kind of stuff like that? I guess it's because I love my grandfather. You know, he's not with me anymore, but I will always remember traveling down to see him. And I always remember that song. And I always remember it because it was during the summer. Mr. Tabletopcsmaster.
Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I love that song myself. It's actually hot. It's Summertime in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful.
There you go.
Yeah, look it up. Play it on Spotify tonight. All right. Who wants to be next? Elizabeth.
Oh.
Okay. So imagine you have a bucket list, but just for summer 2020. What 2 or 3 things would you put on it and why?
A bucket list for this year. Given that COVID-19 has shut off all the things I was going to do, like go to Canada and play at the Bay of Fundy and take my dog, roaming on the beach and visiting family and friends. My other bucket list is, given that my business is about to expire, my bucket list is to work as hard as I can and research ways to digitize my ESL newspaper so that we can sell it to the customers that told us they're not going to buy it anymore unless it's available online. And you can't sell something online to a class of 20 because they'll buy one and share it with all 20, so there's no money in it. So I'm researching places that can lock it so a teacher can buy 20 copies and pay for 20 copies and no more than 20 copies. So that's kind of my bucket list. And to talk to my family every day. And actually I would love to get my son Jim from New Jersey to come down and visit, because he's never been here in the 12 years that I've lived here, although the son in Maine has been here. So if he came down, I would take him around the lake, and there's a house on the other side of the lake, and I would say, why don't you buy that house so we could be neighbors? And that's one of my fantasies. The other fantasy is to teach my dog 100 new tricks. She's already pretty smart. She'll bring me my shoes and my socks and her collar when she wants to go out for a walk. And life is not so bad as JP was saying during COVID, because I work at home anyway, glued to my computer, writing. But I'm not used to being in Virginia Beach in the summer because it's like really hot, and I'm allergic to heat. I'm allergic to cold too. So I like to be up next to the Bay of Fundy with natural air conditioning. The temperature of the bay is like 52 degrees all the time, and the cool breezes off that. Really sweet. I see 2 fingers. Does that mean I have 2 more minutes? Probably not. Mr. Tabletopcsmaster.
That's great. Having your plans canceled can be a bummer, yeah, I mean, I know that you've got a lot of other stuff that you are on your plate, and you know, it's really great. You know, your plans for the future, especially this summer. Okay, next, Asha Zarr.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you going to throw at me?
What food or drink makes summer for you? The kind you would eat or drink, and if you didn't get that during the summertime, you'd be pretty disappointed. And why is that?
I just got 2 personal watermelons, if that tells you anything. And I don't buy it here in Pennsylvania, but when I find a good one, it excites me like you would not believe. And that fruit is apricot, because I saw something yesterday in Trader Joe's, and for some reason they lauded apricots as being sweet and tart. And I said out loud, why would anybody want a tart apricot? And I thought to myself, that's a big difference from Trader Joe's here and on the West Coast, because when I was young, we used to take my grandfather's houseboat, go to this island in the California Delta called Antioch, and we would pick our own apricots. And that is the #1 fruit that reminds me of summer, because they're sweet as can be, and they leave a little bit of orange juice dribbling down the sides of your lips. And if you manage to have any left from what you put in the bucket and brought home, they make excellent jam as well. So that's my #1 favorite fruit that reminds me of summer. And my #2 one is plums, because when I was very young, the 7th to the 9th, 7 to 9 years old, not in the 9th grades, but I used to climb the plum trees. We had 2 in our backyard, and gorge myself, probably more than the birds did. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, actually I have apricot jam in my refrigerator right now, and I bought some bread, and I want some peanut butter and an apricot, sandwich. So yeah, apricot's a great fruit. Okay, T, do you want to join? Want me to ask you a question? Would you be able to do that?
I apologize. I'm struggling to unmute her. My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, sure. I'll go for it.
Okay. Let's see here. What is your favorite movie set in the summertime, and why?
Oh, what is my favorite movie? Oh, I don't know if I can answer that one. I'm not a TV person.
Okay.
Let me think. My favorite movie in the summertime.
If you can't.
Men in Black. I don't know. Like something dealing with sci-fi, maybe. Let's see. I cannot remember a favorite movie in the summertime.
Okay. Well, then what's your favorite summertime vacation destination, and why?
Okay, I like, we have Water Country USA around here, and I like Water Country USA. That's my thing. So every weekend we're always at Water Country USA in Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
Tell us more about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing something else. I apologize. It's me. I pick up most of the time my nieces and my nephews, and I make it a big family event. And so we all go to Water Country because they have like these lounge chairs that I like to lay down in. And then the kids, they go on to the slides and stuff like that. And for the most part, it's like a vacation for me, because most of the times I'm laying back in the shade. But I also like, they have this lazy river that I like to go on to. So most of the time I'm laying back in the water. So that's really my favorite time, because it's so close to the house, and it's easy with all the kids, and I can make it a family event. Plus I can also enjoy some alone time.
Awesome. Yeah, I grew up in Ohio, and my theme park was Kings Island. And there was like a lazy river. I forget the name of like the water park section. I used to float down that thing all day long, or for hours at least. So yeah.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Do we have time for one more, Andrew? Or 2 more?
Well, yeah, 2 more.
Okay. All right. Jennifer, do you want to do one? Okay. Briefly list 1 to 3 past summer memories. And can you notice a theme or at least share why you chose those memories?
Sure. So 1 to 3 past summer memories. My number one summer memory is childhood summers, because you could sleep in as late as you wanted, wake up, eat breakfast. I'm always a breakfast person. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. So even if I was a really lazy teenager and woke up at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I would still have to start the day with a bowl of sugary cereal, which we rarely had in my household, or something healthier like my parents had around. And my memories back then were of learning to make French toast and pancakes and just having really lazy days. And they were lazy because I lived in the country with nothing surrounding me and no cable. So it was very much a make your own entertainment type of summer. And I also only owned a Game Boy as a 90s baby and didn't even have any game system. So I was rather boring to all of my friends. So I had to read a lot of books, which was my way of spending time in the summer. I was always on the top reader lists. And every now and then during the summer, we take 1 or 2 vacations together as a family, either to visit family nearby or to go back to my parents' home, which is in Jamaica. Thank you, Mr. Topicsmaster.
Yeah, great. I grew up in the country myself, and just like your mother and father, like they didn't want me to have a lot of sugary cereal, so my favorite is now like Cracklin' Oat Bran or something that's just like old man type cereal. So great. Andrew, do you want to do the last one for me, or help me out with the last one?
I'd be happy to.
Okay. All right. So you're a deep person, deep thinker. So I have a deep question for you. Would you want to live in a world where it was summertime all year round for the rest of your life? And why or why not?
So those who know me know that I cannot stand the heat or bright sunlight. So summer all the time is most definitely the one thing that I cannot have. I am a cold dweller. I prefer wintertime. I'm the guy that runs the AC year round. It could be 30 degrees outside and I still have the AC on. I mean, because that's who I am. I have tried to embrace the heat. Living in Virginia, the humidity burns me. Today, I had to load a moving truck in the heat. Although I didn't do most of the work, I had hope. But every time I stepped outside, instant exhaustion. Instant. The heat is not for me. That's why I'm moving up north. Trying to get away from the heat. So I would love a winter all the time, but summer, oh no. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Yeah, I was there at your house earlier today, and then also a couple weeks ago, and yeah, your house is like a refrigerator. It's crazy cold in there, and I actually prefer like the heat myself. So like my house is like 80 something. So yeah, I guess back to you, Andrew, Toastmaster Andrew.
All right. Thank you, Jack, for your enlightening table topics. All right. Now we're going to move into our evaluator portion of the meeting and to run. Oh, sorry. Can I get a time support, please?
All right. Table topics, Robert. 1 minute, 44 seconds. Elizabeth, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Asha, 1 minute, 40 seconds. T, 1 minute, 3 seconds. Jennifer, 1 minute, 30 seconds. And Andrew, 1 minute, 19 seconds. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Please submit your vote to me for best table topics. In the meantime, we will move on to our evaluator portion of the meeting. This is where you get the feedback for all of our hard work and the speeches and so on and so forth. And to handle that portion, I will turn the meeting over to our general evaluator, Ms. Jennifer Newman.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. This evening's meeting has been very entertaining. It's summertime, and I think we're all having summer fun. Hooray! Is that the word, hooray? Hooray! So I just wanted to say the meeting, everyone did a wonderful job just coming together and getting the roles filled for tonight. There were a few open roles for up until a few minutes prior to the meeting starting. And what I noticed is that everyone stepped up to the plate. Some people tonight are taking on more than one role, such as Lee and, sorry, I don't have my list right here, but I think Asha, you took a few roles. So speech evaluators. Okay. Okay, so Andrew, you introduced me, but I think we're going to go ahead and introduce our speech evaluations right now. So thank you for your speech. Let's introduce our first evaluator of the night. First evaluator of the night, please introduce yourself, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say about our first speaker, Ms. Cleo Robertson.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. My name is Jamard Bossicot. Some people know me as Jay. I will be evaluating Cleo this evening. First of all, Cleo, I'd like to say I love the way you started out your speech with that misdirection, saying how you made a house in 2 hours. And you know, at first I was like, I don't know where she's going with this. And then bam, you busted out the Minecraft. And I was like, that's a great way to grab our attention. Immediately, I was automatically intrigued because I didn't expect I would be looking at a presentation on a video game. You feel me? So yeah, that was a great way to grab our attention and our intrigue out the gate. That was excellent choice. The information I felt was delivered with great clarity and excitement. I felt the excitement in your voice. There was a lot of laughter, a lot of smiling. So as far as the positivity of the, or rather the energy that you brought to the presentation, I thought you did a great job with that. The visuals were a great positive reinforcement. I like the fact that you also told us how you did that, because the way you were able to switch between gameplay and like the internet research and all that stuff, I thought that was a great tool to use to keep our attention. Definitely kept my attention. And personally, I'm not even that interested in Minecraft, so great job. I love the fact that you also went through, you gave us like a walkthrough. You feel me? You gave us a, just like the skin, you were able to show us like different characters, how you're able to add different features to them. And then you also gave us like an overview of the map. The only thing I would add to that is to go deeper into the gameplay. I felt like I got a taste of Minecraft. I mean, I'm not personally, like, I don't know too much about Minecraft, so I'm not sure how deep it goes, but I do feel like there's probably more to the game. And you could also include your, let's say, your opinions on how it compares to other games within the field, like maybe Sims or other similar games of that sort. I thought you used there was a great use of vocal variety, like you're able to emphasize certain major points with your vocals. You were very clear, you were very loud. Also felt though that the inflections, the little intonations were natural at some points and unnatural at other points. So I would actually challenge you as you're going over your speech to feel it a little bit more. Because like at certain points it was natural, you're laughing, you're vibing, and then other points it seemed as though you were emphasizing to emphasize. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. For the sake of the speech, you emphasize major points, but it seemed to be delivered as naturally as it could be. So I have the same issue sometimes. I think it's just going over your speech a couple times and just making it more real to you, just feeling your speech out a lot more. Also wanted to speak on eye contact. Now, eye contact is one of my biggest weaknesses, but as you're going through it, I know, again, we're doing this Zoom meeting, but in this situation, you could look at the camera a little bit more. It's a little weird because you're not really connecting with the people because you're used to seeing people on the screen. But as you connect with them in the camera, they're connecting with you just visually. So I did feel like you were looking at another screen, even though I know you're trying to like go through your slides. But it helps to look at the camera every now and then so you can keep our attention on you, not just your visuals. Your freehand, I know this with one hand, yeah, of course you were clicking and everything you had to do with that, but with the freehand, it seemed to stay within a particular box or an area. So if you can gesticulate a little bit more with the freehand, there was a lot of excitement in your tone, but not as much with your body language. So I'd say for future reference, definitely try to get your hands involved. Me, I'm a handsy person. My hands go all over the place. So if you try to add your hands, or rather your body with, I would say if you try to include it in the emotion that you're expressing, it's going to come across a lot better. And yep, that's pretty much the notes I have. Overall, very great speech, and I look forward to what you do next. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Jay. That was a wonderful evaluation. And thank you again, Cleo. Our second evaluator will be Mr. Robert Riggs.
Hi, everybody. Hold on one second. I have to put my light on. I realize that it's now dark outside. So I do apologize. There we go. Now you can actually see me. I am going to be doing an emergency evaluation. Unfortunately, we had another individual who couldn't come tonight, but I'm going to be evaluating JP. And I really liked this speech. I'm going to say some things that will make it sound like I don't like the speech, but overall, I can be 100% honest. I really did like the speech. Why? Because it fit the bill. The requirement of this speech is to get out there and engage your audience. And I could tell that JP was doing his absolute best to maintain the energy in the crowd. And honestly, this is really hard because it's Zoom. I mean, come on, everybody. How you doing? You know what I did for COVID? Look at that. HUTV ain't got nothing on me. I loved that. I love the tone that you started with and you kept flying with it. You kept flying with it. And you added humor in. You're like, well, I'm not a parent, at least not that I'm aware of. You had that humor adds into it as well. You kept it going. You kept the energy flowing. You mixed it up. You varied it. That's what this speech was all about. You were supposed to give something, some speech that really engaged us. That's what we needed to hear, and that's what we heard. I also like how you kept asking questions to everybody, because it's not just enough to be up there and be entertaining and be bombastic. You actually have to engage us intellectually. You have to get us to think. You have to put us in your shoes. And I liked how you asked questions intentionally. That's something that needed to be done. There's a lot of different ways that you can be a powerful presenter or a motivator. I felt like a lot of those elements were in your presentation and your body language. I also liked how you moved your camera around. That was a pretty good idea. There was a few things that I think, though, that you could add on top of that. There was a few things that I think that while you had all that there, it could have been tweaked. It could have been changed up. Number one, the requirement was to select a topic that is new or unfamiliar with the club. If you select a topic that is new or unfamiliar, i.e. not the coronavirus, I mean, there were some components in there that were new and unfamiliar, so I say it kind of qualifies. That part right there, I think you should have gotten something that was immediately something we're not familiar with at all. Like, who knows, maybe you play harmonica or something like that. Okay, something that we can be interested in that's new and fresh. That will also keep the energy going. I also would like to hear you reach out to new members. You started asking questions. Well, why don't you reach out to the members and say, hey, what do you think about this? And then look at Zach. I actually looked at all the audience members while you were giving your speech, and half of them were like really interested and intrigued. Zach was kind of sitting there kind of like laughing, but at the same time, like not fully engaged. As a teacher, if I see a student that's not engaged, I go up to them and I'm like, what do you think? And I make them say something. So if I ask a question, I'll be like, so what do you think, Zach? If Zach's not fully engaged, ask Zach a question, not just the general audience. And then finally, there was about maybe 25% in the middle where I felt a little bit of a dive. It felt like we had a really high pop and a little bit of an energy dive. Maybe that's because it was just dragging a little bit. And then the end, but the end was strong. I liked the end. You really connected. As a challenge, I'm going to say be a teacher. Don't just share your experience, but allow people to respond with your ideas. It's fun to be interesting and intriguing and motivating and get out there and say new things and new ideas. Give people the opportunity to respond back. They did it with their body language. They can do a little bit with their vocals, find other creative ways to do it that also educates them. And that's, I love your speech. I can't wait to hear the next one. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Robert, and thank you again, JP. Our third evaluator of the night is Ms. Dorothy Ware. Dorothy, you'll be evaluating our third speaker, Ms. Donna James.
Thank you very much. Donna's speech tonight was based on body language. So she's supposed to do intentional body language. That's the purpose. And she did a very good job with that, especially in the beginning. She came right out, questions, which is a great way to get people involved. Use your hands, get everybody ready for what's going to happen next. So that was one of the good things she did. She got us out there, she talked about different things, and she stood up. You can't do body language without standing up. And I was wondering when I got this, I said, what is she gonna do? She stood up, she gave us body language, she used her hand. She didn't use her body as much, but she used her hand and she used her facial expressions. And that was one of her concerns. So she did those three things good. She used her hand, she stood up, and she used her facial expressions. That's where she excelled. Where she could improve on is that she asked a question, and she go right on without waiting or maybe pausing to get an answer. Even though we're in this virtual world and no one's going to raise the hand and give an answer, when you ask a question, give it a moment, give it a pause, and then go on to your next, to your answer. That's what you're really going to do. So I found that she did that a couple times. So I think Donna should give a pause and then go on to and answer the question. Also, a little bit more body movement. When she was talking about tennis swing, she could have used her hand and did a tennis swing, and that would have brought some things home. One other thing, when you're giving a presentation and you're talking about things a person can improve on or things that you should talk about, start with number one and then say what that is, number two, and then number three. So give us three things, call them number one, number two, number three, and that gets us knowing that this is what's going to happen. We already know those three things, we're going to pay more attention. But if you go and you just say, and then we do this, and then you do that, it just kind of loses interest after a moment. Even though this was not a speech that would lose interest, but I thought that could help us a lot. One of the things that I thought I would challenge her on is to slow down. Excellent speech, but it seemed like for a minute there, Donna was just whipping through it. She just started talking fast. I don't know if you get nervous when you're by yourself. I know I do. I'm getting ready to whip through this whole presentation in a few minutes because I am ready to watch a TV program in a few minutes, and I'm at 9 o'clock, I'm off. So, but I'm just saying, she just started talking really fast and she needs to slow down a little bit. Eye contact was excellent. Body language, what you could do was excellent. I would just say that maybe a little bit more using your hand gestures and bring yourself forward when you're talking. Other than that, everything was wonderful. Donna, you aced it, and I'll send it to you in a little bit. Okay, your evaluation in a little bit. Have a
Thank you, Donna, for that evaluation, or Dorothy, and thank you, Donna, for that speech. Tammy, Attama, would you please give us our table topics evaluation?
Yes, I will be evaluating Zach Phillips, and Zach was our topic master for the evening. Zach, I love that you had a theme and you stuck with the theme. All your questions were directly related to your theme. You also even remembered Rob's song, which was pretty good because he didn't even remember it himself. So you remembered the title of the song. That was clever. You made connections between whatever everybody was saying and something in your own life, so we could all relate to what was going on. And as according to the Toastmaster guidelines, you followed it and demonstrated to us active listening. Something I can challenge you on, well, that's kind of hard because you really did a good job, but I would say just your inflections and hand gestures, a little more of that. All of us can work on camera stuff on Zoom because, you know, the lighting's just, you know, iffy, and even when we use screens behind us, they go in and out. So it's a fine balancing act on Zoom for all of us. As far as anything else, you did a great job. I mean, you really were paying attention to people. You were focused on what they were telling you, and you were able to not hesitate at all. You would just get in there and give them feedback, appropriate feedback. So, excellent job.
Thank you for that timers report, our table topics report, Tammy. Next, I'd like to introduce our timer. Can you please give us how everything went tonight, Mr. Josh Puerto?
Lee is stepping in for
Oh, Lee, I'm sorry. I was looking at my old notes. Thank you, Lee, for stepping into that timers report role for tonight. How did everybody do?
Okay, evaluations. Jamard, 3 minutes, 57 seconds. Robert, 3 minutes, 25 seconds. Dorothy, 3 minutes, 10 seconds. Tammy, 1 minute, 41 seconds. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'll now pass the meeting on to our Toastmaster of the evening, Mr. Andrew Bullock.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. But don't go too far away because I'm about to hand it right back to you in just a second. Just wanted to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I apologize. My laptop died a lot faster than I thought it would. Who knew that Zoom would burn a 5-hour battery in 2 hours? All right. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. I actually have to go, but I will see you all next week. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Before you go, I just want to say thank you again, Andrew, for multitasking and 100% of what the word multitasking could mean. So we appreciate your work for tonight. And again, I'd like to start where I left off prematurely, where I started prematurely, and thank everyone again for stepping up for their roles for tonight. I know we were a little short, so like I was saying before, many people stepped up to do multiple roles. Our meeting started on time. We had a few guests. I'd like to thank you for staying with us for this long. I hope you enjoyed the meeting. We had a few guests tonight, actually. We had T and Matt and Mr. Michael Doyle and Valerie Gray had joined us as well a little bit earlier. So that was very good. Mr. Toastmaster was able to introduce everyone as we discussed. And again, Zach, I want to tell you that you did a wonderful job with the topic, being Topicsmaster tonight. You were very genuine in your responses, very natural, and you really carried the night through, and great questions and themes. So thank you, everyone, and I'd like to turn the meeting over to our I don't know who, our president. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. I sincerely appreciate that. I do appreciate you turning the meeting over to me, but I will have to unfortunately turn it right back to you if that's okay. We do have some roll reports that got to go through, and I would not want to deprive you of that honor. So if you could do me a favor, if you could call out each member for our roll reports. We got a grammarian, we got a listen up, we got an odd counter, we got a wordmaster, all those wonderful people. So without further ado, Madam General Evaluator, we would love to hear our roll reports.
Okay. Okay.
I would like to note one thing. If everybody could please, no, we didn't get any votes for best evaluator. So if whoever you thought was the best evaluator, unfortunately, Jade is not, he cannot be voted on because he went over time, but everybody else, go ahead and try to vote for best evaluator.
And while you're doing that, let's have a summary from Miss Asha, our grammarian and our counter for the night. Oh, don't forget to unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Yes, so my first hooray was muted, so hooray, thank you. So I was able to do this, and I looked at these two things before we started, but I didn't have them right in front of me, and I had to download Adobe at the last minute, so I was fulfilling the role while I read the role, and I apologize for that. As far as grammar goes, I'll just say very quickly that there's a slight difference between using the word good and the word well. It's not a big difference, but that's one. There were very few ahs, likes. There was a slight hiccup when you repeated something once, Cleo. I have your name here, Jamard, am I saying that right? Yes, and your name's right in front of me. Okay, and I'm doing it right now too. You said so we're both guilty of that. And I believe that Tammy said once too. That's perfectly fine. I really didn't find anything wrong with any improper use of language except the good and the well, and I realized far too late that I was supposed to talk about wonderful things that people said. So I liked when Cleo, you talked about Minecraft being like a Lego game. Josue, I thought it was, I'm saying your name wrong. I had to write it down. Josue, I liked when you called children monsters because it's a horrible thing and yet it's 100,000% true. And also when you mentioned that HGTV has nothing on me. Donna, I liked when you talked about, you used the words, the positive mindset and your emotions and thoughts lead to your actions. That was great. And, oh, Robert, I have you down here last, but I did like that you talked about respect for the time limit. That was great. So let's see. So for a few other people, Dorothy Ware, when you evaluated, I liked how the bring yourself forward was very salient and that phrase popped. The emotional rush that you talked about, natural air conditioning, those words, those two phrases were very effective. And that's for you, Elizabeth Clare. Let's see, T, you talked about your nieces and nephews and your daughter. And I like that because I'm not trying to sound like an evaluator here. This is my first time. I'm so sorry. I like your phrasing of being alone because you were with everybody, but you were alone. So that popped out at me. And let's see, Jennifer, you talked about making your own entertainment. So that popped out at me as well, as did Andrew's talk. While my AC is running, what popped out for me is you need the AC at 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And I had the layer up for my AC running at 68 F. Back to you, Mrs. General, oh dear, Mrs. General Evaluator.
Thank you. That was a wonderful summary of the night. We really appreciate that. And Miss Elizabeth Clare, our wordmaster, could you please tell us how we did for the night? Oh, after you unmute yourself.
I have to do it myself. No, someone did it for me. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Hooray! People use the word. Jennifer used it twice at least. Zach used it. Jay used it. Cleo used it. Asha used it. Is there anyone I missed? So I want everyone to use it right now. Hooray!
Hooray!
Good.
Thank you. Now for our timers report, Lee, back to you. Please tell us how we did.
I already gave all the timer reports. We should be sending in the votes, but for listen up, what does Jennifer like to do a lot of?
I don't remember.
He reads a lot.
Read.
Yep, reading. Where did T talk about going for a vacation?
It wasn't water country.
Where does Elizabeth travel usually every year?
New Jersey.
Canada.
The Bay of Fundy.
Bay?
Yep, all good. And Andrew, what type of weather does he like?
Cold.
Very cold.
And what did Cleo in her game, what did she accomplish?
Built a house in 2 hours.
Yeah, she built a house
Correct.
in hours.
A waterside front property, no less.
What did Cleo change in her game?
Her skin.
Skin, yeah.
And what was the name of the game?
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you for the listen up, Lee. We appreciate that. Okay, so I believe all of our roles have been filled. Was anyone missing from giving a report tonight? No? Okay, well, thank you for your participation, and I turn the meeting over to the next person. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I sincerely appreciate that. Well, this was a wonderful evening. This was also our last meeting of the Toastmasters year. We not only got 1, but 2 awards in the book. Miss Cleo is going to get her L1, and somebody else got their triple crown. Who got their triple crown tonight? You can tell by the excited look on his face. Where is he? Did anybody see him? He's like right now.
Joshua.
Josue.
JP, did you get your triple crown tonight?
Yeah.
Josue.
Yes. Congratulations. That's something that's difficult to do. And I can also tell everybody, I know it's difficult. I've done it before. It's a pain in the butt. But we're all, or at least all the officers are going to be doing it next year. I've challenged all of my officers to get triple crowns, all 11 of us. You know, with few exceptions, everybody's who's an officer is going to try to get the triple crown. We've already got it in the works. JP is the man trying to make it work. And in turn, each officer is going to reach out to one of you and going to talk to you about your experience inside Toastmasters. That's what's coming up. And beyond that, we're going to talk about goals. It's going to be a fabulous year. But just for tonight, to end it off, I got a few questions. First off, T, how was the night? What did you think of it? Did we meet your expectations? What are you looking to get out of Toastmasters?
Tonight, oh, excuse me. Okay, I have to come outside. Tonight was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. And I would like to come to your next meeting. I definitely wanted to join the group. I liked all the feedback too that you guys gave each other. It was constructive criticism, and you gave each other compliments.
Well, thank you. We're only mean when we have to be.
That's good to know. But I definitely wanted to come to the next one and join into your club.
All right. So we meet the 1st, the 2nd, and the 4th Tuesdays. Before all this COVID stuff, we were meeting at ECPI. We're still going to be meeting there going forward, but of course the school has to be open for us to meet there. So it will happen. My guess is it'll probably happen the next month or so. We've kind of been in talk with the guys. So while we're there, we will also do the Zoom online. So if you don't feel comfortable coming out to ECPI yet, still free to do the Zoom. But otherwise, you can see all of our beautiful faces in person.
Okay, sure. I like that. Sure. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Now, does I would like to say one other thing before we go into the ribbons and the awards and who won, and that is, like our exiting president said, JP, we are going to have an officer training. Our officers have already signed up for the training. Thank goodness, every single one of you, and I sincerely appreciate that. We have a training on July 17th and July 18th. The 17th is 6 to 9 p.m. at night. That's a Friday. And then the following Saturday morning is 9 to 12. Now, what's interesting about this training is it's some of it's officer training and some of it's stuff like storytelling. And if you ever wanted to get a DTM, how the heck you're going to do it in Pathways, stuff like that. It's also all about getting up on stage in front of video and putting your best foot forward. So there's a lot out there. If you are interested in any type of training, let me know and I can walk you through what's going on. Or let's say you're interested in, potentially one day in the future trying an officer role. There's several different officer positions that you can train on, or just go see and figure it out. So let me know, or JP know, or Andrew know, or anybody who's an officer know, and we will talk to you about what kind of training you can do. It's going to be entirely on Zoom. Unfortunately, like in the past, we used to have division trainings. This is it. The district is doing one training. So if you're an officer, and if you're an official officer, please show up. We're actually going to I'm going to be inviting all my officers and anybody else to come to my house on July 17th at night and July 18th in the morning to go to this training. Now, finally, we have one last thing. What is it?
Awards.
Awards. Everybody's unmuted, right? If you don't are muted, do me a favor, unmute. And I want to hear your hand at the table, okay? Anybody do that for me? We can do snaps if we want, if we don't have a table. Way to go, Asha. So first thing tonight, for best speaker. Your table. Cleo, congratulations, Cleo. You got best speaker. You didn't think
Thank
you
you.
could, and you got best speaker. How's it feel?
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations. You're getting an electronic ribbon in the mail, or maybe even a real one if you remind me. So, best speaker. And now for best table topics. Jennifer Newman, best table topics. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Hooray!
Hey,
boring childhood paid off.
And then finally, last but not least, best evaluator. I asked this person to come here tonight because I said, we need a heck of an evaluation for an advanced speaker, and she did a great job. Miss Dorothy Ware got every single vote, by the way, every single one. So, congratulations, Dorothy. All right, we're going to be meeting in 2 weeks. So 1st, 2nd, and 4th. The next Tuesday is the 5th Tuesday of the month. So we're not meeting next Tuesday, but we're meeting the Tuesday after that on July 7th. Be there or be square. And with that, I'm going to adjourn our meeting.
Nice meeting everyone.
Yeah, you too. Come back soon.
You guys.
Night. Good night.